Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to 7 things I have to buy when I visit the US or the USA. I'm going to assume this is basically things you can't get in the UK. I mean, that would make sense, because, or not in the UK, wherever else you live, because she's from Ireland, isn't she? So yeah, things that I guess you can only realistically buy in the US and then take home. Yeah, I don't really know, but we're going to check this out first to say things. I mean, I'm thinking of like guns and stuff, but you can't bring that home with you, so we'll leave that to decide. Things you have to buy when you're in the US. I actually don't know. I don't know. Yeah, we're just gonna see. I've got nothing else to say, so yeah, we're gonna check this out. Links also in the description to my Patreon, where you can see reactions that I can't post to YouTube, movies, TV series, all that stuff. Links are there, and let's check this video out.
I thought it might be interesting to hit up a Target to get a couple of things that I can only buy when I'm in the United States of America. So come along with me and let's check them out. It's bloody freezing.
Comfy cozy? Comfy cozy? You happy to you? So today I want to tell you guys about a couple of things that when I'm in the USA I always make sure I bring back. Of course, with globalization these days, you can online order pretty much anything if you're willing to pay a customs charge. That being said, there are still a couple of things I make sure I buy when I am in the...
I'll tell you what I got the other day. What's the US barbecue sauce? I gotta search it quickly. Oh mate, is it like bullseye? Bullseye barbecue sauce. This is American, right? If it's not American, then I'm so sorry. I swear it is. It is. Bullseye. Wait, let me just. I mean, I think you can sort of kind of lower the thingy. I can't be asked to search my computer. There you go. Bullseye barbecue sauce. Got that in my local shop because the one that I usually get wasn't there. And I was like, oh, I swear I've seen this before, and I got it, and it's good, man. I can already tell it's just perfect on a rack of ribs. So yeah, that's showing the world is globalizing, because usually you'd have to get stuff like that. Because I said Old Bay seasonings also sold in my shops. Usually now you'd have to use Amazon, which is obviously still a positive, because Amazon you definitely get it for cheaper prices. But you literally get it in shops here now, which is a nice surprise.
US of A. As you guys know, one thing that I absolutely love when I'm in America is restaurant food, but you cannot buy that, put it in your suitcase and bring it back. So today I'll be specifically talking about stuff that I can do that with. I'm also going to mention a couple of things that the markup when they come over to Europe is just freaking huge, so it's not worth buying them over here. Enough hooing and hawing, let me get into the first one, and if you've been around here a while, you know what the first one is. Say it with me, Crest whitening strips. So in the EU there is a law on how much bleach a person can use on their teeth at home.
Oh
I
my
think
God,
it's called bleach.
Teeth bleach. See, I've seen people like draw on their teeth to like whiten, and that makes me cringe, man. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind teeth a bit whiter. They're not perfect. But then I see people with like, who get like, what's it called? Not Invisaligners. Like, they'll literally get their teeth redone and they're completely white. I think that is the worst look possible. Each to their own, right? I mean, it's probably better than having tarry yellow, like really yellow teeth that are falling apart, you know? Cavities here and there. And her teeth, to be fair, they don't actually, they look like white, but not overly white. They look, like, to be fair, I wouldn't mind my teeth that white, to be honest. I'm saying this, I wouldn't actually mind having this. I don't know how this stuff works, but I need some of that, to be fair. I'll take back what I said. I want teeth like that, because who doesn't want whiter teeth? But too white is too much, right? Like, I can just, let me just see. Here we go. Here's a footballer who has really white teeth. Like, I couldn't do that, man. But you know what? Hey, who am I to say anything, man? Do what you got to do. Be happy.
I assume it's bleach, like hydrogen peroxide. One of the things, the thing that makes your teeth white. But in the USA, it's much higher.
USA! USA!
So in Europe, we have a lot of look-alike things that are like Crest whitening strips. I think Crest may have even come up with a version in Europe, but it is not as strong because they are not legally allowed to sell us the strong stuff. So without fail, I come back with Crest whitening strips in my suitcase. However, I have to say, recently the price of Crest whitening strips has gone up in America.
I think you guys know what the very first thing I'm going to want to buy is. going to be the Crest whitening strips because they are massively illegal in Europe. This is kind of interesting. Since I started coming to the USA, this has been put behind a lockbox.
Quite
But
spenny.
it is.
I guess you get a lot of it though. I'm wondering because there's bleach now. I mean, I don't know what it can really do to you. It's not gonna like lead to like severe cases of like, I'm thinking like mouth cancer or something, but I don't really know. It depends if you're using it like every other day or something. Again, I don't know how it works. If you're using it every other day, it's probably not going to be the best for you, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. I mean, it probably does matter, but who doesn't want white teeth, right? It's all for the happiness. Got to do what makes you happy.
Expensive, so it makes sense. I'm kind of curious if any of the home store versions, like the Target whitening strips or whitening strips, are as good. I kind of don't want to take any chances. I just want my whitening strips. Well, they're not very good for your teeth, but the chemicals in them are apparently too strong for people to use at home. But I feel like if you just use them now and again, you're okay. That's what I tell myself.
It's like they know we go in and we put them in our cases and we take them back. You can get the odd, what's it called? Like illegal Crest whitening strip in Europe. I once purchased a single Crest whitening strip on eBay for €25. It was for a big dance that I had coming up, and I really wanted my teeth to be white. But I should really just buy a whole load of them and import them into Europe and sell them to my friends. I mean, give them to them. They're really popular here, though. Like, you will always get people being like, "Can you buy me a box when you go over?"
I've never ever heard of them. That's just me.
The next thing, without a doubt, has to be different types of pharmaceutical.
I'm just realizing now, like, pretty much a lot of the stuff I want to get here that I can't get in Europe is medicinal. But another thing I want to get is a liquid IV.
You can buy liquid IV from a chemist or a pharmacy or whatever.
Because that shiz is very good, especially when you have a hangover.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know it's very useful. I mean, obviously, when people are in hospital, A&E or whatever, or they've had a really bad sickness, IV is like the best thing to combat that. I don't even know what's inside it. I just know it's very good. I guess it's just full of like vitamins and stuff, and it just gets into your body more efficiently. Maybe it's more than just vitamins. Probably is more than just vitamins, but
not that I ever get a hangover. Cause something else we can't get exactly is Dayquil, NyQuil, and actually they're very good when you're sick. Like very helpful. So I will be loading up on these. Thank you very much.
I don't know what they are.
Something else that's not impossible to get in Europe, but is trickier, is melatonin. So I'd be loading up on my melatonin. I think the strongest, now I will correct myself in editing, our editor Diane will, I think the strongest we can get is 8 milligrams. So we get that. Dr. Bronner's stuff is like €10 cheaper here in the US. We do have drugs that contain acetaminophen, I think it's called, is the active pharmaceutical in Dayquil, NyQuil, but it just doesn't hit the same. So I do like to pick it up. Also, that stuff you spray up your nose, more medicinal stuff, but it's good.
Oh, for blocked noses.
I know this is available in Europe, but it's actually quite hard to get. And recently a family member had a really bad...
Soothing saline nasal rinse. To be fair, I actually bought one of these off Amazon, and I mean I've not really used it much, but it wasn't the best thing. I mean it just has salt in it. Like you just add a little bit of salt. It came with like some sachets and stuff. And I saw like TikToks of people doing it. And, like they were doing it, and like bogies were fully like flowing out their nose because you put it in this like nostril, it comes out of this one. That wasn't happening for me, and I was really ill when I was doing it as well. So I was kind of lied to, but I feel like it probably is satisfying, especially when you've got a really blocked nose or a snotty nose or something.
Cold, and I was like, we need that up the nose thing, and nobody had it. No pharmacies had it that were nearby.
So what are
I sound like such a junkie.
I keep seeing these prices. It has two prices. Is this so 36 cents, 66.30? These are two separate prices. Are these if you have like insurance? The price is in yellow, and then these are. I mean, this is cents. So I don't really know what this is. Oh, and this is $36 0 cents. Yeah, I don't really understand. I guess maybe the yellow is because the yellow is all looking cheaper. Is just if you've got insurance or something. which I'm not too sure if that's the case or not.
No pharmacies had it that were nearby.
These are the same
I
prices.
sound like such a junkie at this video. Dayquil and NyQuil are so good, and I always make sure that I have a packet on hand that I've brought in from the USA. I don't know what's in that shiz, but it's just like stronger than the stuff we have here. And I could have gone down like an exploratory route of ingredients, but I just didn't. Don't get me wrong, we have like ibuprofen, cold and flu here, Nurofen, cold and flu. But the Dayquil and NyQuil just hits different. So I always stash some of that stuff in my bag. Speaking of bags, you know what I don't have in my new merch store? Bags. But I do have...
Speaking of bags, here's my cocaine. Sorry. Get that money, man. Secure the bag. Quite literally.
I feel it's distracting. Anyway, another thing that I always make sure I buy when I'm in the USA, if I don't have it on hand from the last trip, is melatonin. So getting melatonin in Europe, usually you have to have some kind of prescription, or the stuff that they have again just isn't as strong, like the dosages that they can give you. Also, liquid IV, that shit hits.
What does for me no teeth? Melatonin. Oh, melatonin. Well, there you go. It's for sleep. Is it? It's not like, 'cause it's for sleep and staying awake. It said. So it's not like a sleeping tablet. Plays a role in the sleep-wake cycle. Natural levels of melatonin in the blood are highest at night. Some research suggests that melatonin supplements might be helpful treating sleep disorders. So this just seems like quite a natural thing to use just to help you asleep then. So why don't we have this here? Is it sort of like lavender versus lavender capsules? Because that's sort of the same, isn't it? That helps with sleep. I know my girlfriend had that. Oh, I don't know. Nothing's coming up. Maybe I'm just waffling to myself. We'll leave it at that. And she's talking about liquid IV. So what is it? Liquid IV that you inject to yourself, or like how does this work?
Good when you're hungover. In Ireland, we have an equivalent. It's like a sachet you put in your drinks, but again, it's just like the liquid IV is like what it sounds like. Liquid IV. The next thing that I buy, and I actually had a little not row, but a conversation with my mom about this, is Tide to Go pens. They are the only thing that gets stains out of your clothes. Like if you don't.
That's pretty cool. Wait, so this is the same brand that makes Tide Pods, right? Damn, that's pretty cool. I mean, I guess it's very strong. But so you get a little bit of a stain on your white shirt and you just put it on it. That's pretty cool. I can't lie.
Know them, they're little pens, and if you spill something on yourself or you have a little mark, you use them and you can just like rub out the stain without having to wash your clothes. And we do have versions of it here, but again, I have tried different versions and they are not as good as the Tide.
I've never even heard of these products. These are products I've never heard of, but now I'm hearing about them. I need to get some of that myself. I'm enjoying this video because this is all stuff that I've actually not really heard about or anything. So I'm actually like learning and seeing the things that you have in the US.
To Go pens, and I don't know why they don't sell the Tide to Go pens here. You can probably get them, but just not in like supermarkets that I can see. That brand is the only brand that gets the stains out first time. The next thing, and I know this will not apply to the majority of you guys, but in case you hadn't heard, I'm an Irish girl and I am a very stereotypical Irish girl in that I love my fake tan. Not all Irish girls do, but I do. I really love it. I'm a pale blue girl if I don't have my tan on. And only recently they started selling tonology drops in Europe, and you can buy them in Sephora now, but up until recently you couldn't, so that was something I stocked up on. Also, Saint-Tropez comes in different flavors. That's not right. Like it comes in different scents. So there's a cherry Saint-Tropez, and again, they've just recently brought that over to Europe, but it hit you guys first, and I have been bringing that shiz into Europe with me. Every time I go, I buy a box. Also, it was like double the price when it first came here. It's starting to go down in price a little bit. The next thing I always buy because they are different in Europe, again, because of law, stupid laws, Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Flamin' Hot Cheetos are flaming hot in America, and I don't know how they change the ingredients, but when they are here, they're not flaming hot.
Oh, so when we get them here, they're not imported? I mean, you don't really get them often, but you can occasionally get Cheetos. And I don't like hot stuff either, so I mean, I'm not missing out here. But I thought they just imported the same stuff, but I guess they've probably got some crazy chemicals that just make the spice 10 times more. But yeah, I'm not missing out on this one. I like Cheetos. I like cheese flavored Cheetos, to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I like the spicy ones, because I don't like spicy stuff, but Flaming Hot in the US is a lot hotter. There we go.
They're just mildly spicy. They have a little kick. The Flamin' Hot Cheetos are definitely probably not something any of us should be consuming in our bodies, but they're really good, so I buy them. Benzoyl peroxide cleansers. If you have ever had a spotty moment and you have not tried a benzoyl,
I need this, man. I'm not really that spotty, but I do sometimes get breakouts. And I usually just use the little circular plasters just to cover them. Although I've not used them recently. Like, is this like a tablet or is it like a cream? Because people say put toothpaste on it. That does not help. It just dries it out for me. Yeah, what is this product?
peroxide cleanser, go for it. So I know the Inky list. Isn't it weird how dogs always know when the doorbell's about to ring? Anyway, back to the cleansers. So benzoyl peroxide is a really good ingredient if you have acne prone skin, but in Europe you cannot buy it without a prescription in the shops.
That's fair enough. I guess it's very strong. But do you just get this without a prescription? In the US, do you, like things like asthma, right? To get an inhaler, I assume you need a prescription for that, right? Because I know in a lot of sports, I've been noticing recently, especially in the Premier League, so football, soccer, they literally give the players inhalers. And I mean, obviously, some footballers will have inhalers, but there's teams that will just give their footballers inhalers. And I'm like, I understand why, right? Because the effects, your lungs open up, you just feel, I guess, a lot more refreshed, especially if you don't have asthma. I mean, it doesn't really open it up more because if you don't have asthma, it just gives you maybe a bit more of a kick. But are inhalers prescribed in the US, or can you also just get them off the counter or something? I assume not. I assume that's the sort of product that you'd have to prescribe. Or like steroid creams. Is that prescribed, or can you get that without prescriptions?
So as I said, I do have one from the Inky list. It's really good to stock up on. And if you ain't ever heard of that in your life and you got some zits, do check it out. Something with skin products, by the way, I used to give up on them after like 2 weeks. You really do have to use them for like 6 weeks to see a difference. Obviously, if your skin reacts badly to it, maybe you're allergic, but yeah, you have to actually be honest with yourself. Like, did you do it for 6 weeks? Something else I do not bring back with me because I have not dared to do so yet. But every time I go, I'm like, I should bring this back, but I'm too afraid that it will spill in my bag, is coffee creamers. So in most parts of Europe, we do generally have like 1 or 2 maybe coffee creamers available in most supermarkets, but the amount of different types of ones you have are like unreal. Coffee creamer is not a go-to thing in most parts of Europe. Any parts, can I just say that flat out? I don't think anywhere in Europe goes to coffee creamer with their coffee. Like maybe the odd office has it, like we have coffee creamer, but it's just not, like people just use milk, but they have it black. Coffee creamer is yum yum yum. It is like a quick way to putting on weight. It's one of those things like, when you're counting your calories, you look at the side of the box and you're like, oh, damn, did not realize I was adding that many calories. But if you're not like concerned about that, then coffee creamer, yay. Would love to bring it back in my suitcase, but yeah, that is not something you want to... Our penultimate one is designer stuff that is cheap. So you have TJ Maxx, which I've recently...
TJ Maxx is our TK Maxx. Wait, cheap designer stuff? Is it cheaper in the US? I guess maybe a lot of it's made there. But wouldn't that be the same for like Italy? For like certain brands there, like certain designer brands, wouldn't it not be cheaper there? Actually, I think it is. I know a lot of people import clothes from Italy to resell in other countries, so I actually think this probably does make sense.
You discovered, as well as Ross, which I don't think I've posted the video of yet. I should do. My first trip to Ross, and oh my gosh, they have some really good deals. They sell a lot of brands that we don't have in Europe. It's just really fun, and yeah, every time I go, like there'll be something little that I need to buy, like a pair of sunglasses or something, and I'll inevitably find them on the cheap in one of your stores. Like you can get designer sunglasses for the price of like Target sunglasses. And finally, the number one thing, and if you watch this channel a lot, you are going to not be able to not guess what my number one thing is. It's cereal. I love cereal. And we only have like a little bit of choice here. But in America, there are two cereals that I buy every single time and bring back in my suitcase. And
Fruity Loops.
I'll give you 2 seconds to guess. 1, 2. Lucky Charms and Reese's Puffs.
Okay, Reese's Puffs, I can get that one 100%.
Are they Puffs? I think they're called Puffs.
That's like the perfect dessert cereal, man. I would prefer that to like an ice cream and a cake. I'm not gonna lie, like I love sweet cereals. My only issue is I won't just have it for dessert. I'll end up eating it throughout the day. I'm so bad with my food. I'll just eat it. If it's like unhealthy food, I'll just eat it non-stop. But yeah, that's like the perfect dessert cereal, I feel like.
Puffs.
Reese's Puffs, definitely. Look at the size of that box.
It's
It's
huge.
absolutely massive, and that's good value.
What are these two prices it's showing? So this isn't just... I thought it was just insurance prices or something. Maybe it's if you're like... Is it like... we have club cards in the UK. Is it like you have a special membership card? Something like for the shop, maybe? I assume that might be it.
So I will purchase the box, and I'll take the bag
Or
out
is it tax? Maybe it's before and after tax. Although some of them were like £40 differences, so I assume that wouldn't be the case.
to put it in my suitcase.
Oh, they are so yummy and incredibly overpriced in the American section of the supermarket here. But
Yeah.
without a doubt, every single time I go to America, I bring those back in my suitcase. And however you feel about freedom recently, you do have freedom of choice when it comes to choosing your cereal. So go America. Anyway, if you like this.
Well, there we go. To be fair, I learned about a lot. The teeth whitening stuff, interesting. An Irish woman buying Lucky Charms when she visits America, classic. Has to be done. Nick Will, the sniffing, sneezing, coughing, achy head. How did I end up on the kitchen floor medicine? Jesus Christ. Is it that strong? That's why in the commercials they show people taking it next to their bed. That gives you wild, vivid dreams. So it's just a very strong drug, I guess. Nothing better than Nick Will when you're sick. Is that like... I don't really know I can compare it to here. I don't actually know I can compare it to at all. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. Are these products that you tend to buy yourself, or you just sort of don't really assume are really special to your country or whatever? I'm more focusing on like the first half of the video where it was like the medicines and stuff, because there's definitely a lot of things that you definitely will be able to get into the US, in the US, as opposed to the UK or Europe. I assume stronger things is allowed in the US, which has its pros and cons, right? Because when you're sick, the medicines here, they don't really do anything. Like, you have a Lemsip or like whatever it is, and the medicines, I'll be honest, you feel the same, maybe 10% better. In the US, they're probably so strong that they actually make you feel better, but also you just pass out, or it's probably not as good for your body. It's sort of like, there's a pro and a con. It makes you feel better, but it's probably worse for your body. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction, and until next time, like, subscribe, peace.